Tracy Gillies from tracygillies.com. I just today wanted to do a short video on why your body will be craving sugar and the reason behind it. Now, I was listening to this talk online, and there was some beautiful information, and it was about really how our body knows exactly what it needs, and if we tune into our body, we're actually receiving messages, and it will tell us exactly what is right for us. So I do agree with that. You know, I'm always tuning in, especially to, you know, if I need to rest, or maybe at the gym not going as hard, or I know when I was pregnant, I didn't normally like licorice, but I craved heaps and heaps of licorice, and then I went to the doctor and my blood pressure was actually really low, and I said, is there anything natural that I can do to increase my blood pressure? And they said licorice. So I do realize, and I do think that, you know, our body, I know our body holds this wealth of knowledge, and so really tuning in to finding out what we need. But this talk was kind of talking about how our physical body is its kind of whole own entity, and then we have our spiritual being and our whole being, and they're sort of a little bit separate. So maybe your being might want something different from your physical body. Stay with me. Anyway, so she was saying that she had a client, and the client was craving a lot of sugar, and she said, well, your body obviously needs it. Do you realize that most of the sugar you take on, actually your brain utilizes it? And so your brain obviously requires sugar. And yes, that is true. There will be a reason why your brain is needing more sugar. And that then the client said, well, but I get really angry when I eat a lot of sugar. And she said, well, your body is obviously wanting it, and maybe your being is actually the one that's getting angry that you kind of, it doesn't want you doing that, but you need to tune in and do what your body wants. So she was basically saying, have all the sugar because that's what you need to do. I very strongly disagree with that. The reason why you will be craving a lot of sugar, especially at that, you know, that afternoon lull or at night time, is what actually happens is when we are under constant stress, which most of the world is actually in this state, it's called sympathetic nervous system dominance. What actually happens is our brain is in conflict and holding a lot of stress. Now, our brain is like the top organization in our body, and it controls everything. And so if that is in conflict and holding a lot of stress, it controls something called our autonomic nervous system. And there's two sides. We have our sympathetic nervous system and we have our parasympathetic nervous system. And normally when we're healthy and we're in flow, we will switch between these different states. And one, we're geared to, you know, we're working, we're busy. And then when we're resting, our body actually goes ahead and starts to heal and repair itself. So we would be going, you know, between these two states. But what actually happens is we can actually lose the ability through too much stress and ongoing stress to even be able to access our parasympathetic nervous system. So when this happens, we are stuck in something called fight or flight or deep survival stress. And when this happens, we overproduce cortisol in our body, and cortisol is that stress hormone response. And when there's too much cortisol, it actually does a lot of damage in our body, and it will actually change our whole metabolism to suit a survival scenario. So this is the thing about how your body wanting the sugar. Yes, because it needs it, because it's stuck in this state. So even if you did eat fats and proteins, your body can't even utilize them or absorb them, digest them properly. So it's just craving sugar, fast burn carbs, maybe alcohol, all those things. And if you were to continually kind of have those things, it would just create more inflammation and more disconnection and just add a whole nother layer of stress. So I actually work with my clients to actually help them to heal their bodies, not just their body, mind and soul. But how I work in their body is I actually help take them out of this deep survival stress, this fight or flight, and I find out why they're in it. I also have to help them and look at every single organ and gland in their body and where things are not functioning, so I can actually help them to heal their body and get out of the stress state. So if you did want to know more about how I work with my clients, please visit tracygillies.com. But obviously I have those skills to help my clients do that. But what can you do? So if you are in this state that you're constantly in your sympathetic nervous system, your metabolism would have changed to crave and need and want and only process these types of food. So you need to be able to get back into a place of balance. You need to be able to get back into your sympathetic nervous system. You need to kind of have more rest and downtime and like meditation or coming back into your body, grounding, getting out of those stress states. Even like an overactive mind, our mind can't tell the difference between what is actually happening and what is not. So that's why when we're worrying about things, we're causing these same responses in our body as if we were actually doing them. So it's about kind of getting out of our heads, having that downtime, so that when we do go back into our parasympathetic nervous system, our body is able to heal and repair itself. And the more time and the more you are able to go between those states, then your body will kind of crave the protein and the fats, because that's what it will need, and it will be able to utilize them to heal and repair itself. So I hope this information's helped. Definitely tuning out into our body and seeing what we need, but also being discerning. Like sometimes maybe our body is saying it needs something, but it's because there's a whole lot of other layers to it, or what is getting to that root cause of what's actually underneath it. And also tuning in and knowing what's right for us. Anyway, I hope you've liked this information. If you'd like to know more, please visit my website, tracygillies.com, and you can actually see how I work with my clients to heal and repair their mind, body and soul. So thanks for listening, and have a wonderful day.